Testing. 1, 2, 3.
And here we are. We're recording, and we are podcasters, and we're gonna be rich.
I don't know about rich, but we're gonna have a good time.
Oh.
Welcome to Fortyborn, the limited Lorcana podcast, where a gaming veteran
And a gaming novice
explore all things Lorcana. With a focus on limited formats, we cover set reviews, strategy guides, and stuff nobody asked for.
Let's get inked up, my guy. Inked. Like, not like tattoos, though.
Well, I do have a new tattoo idea I want to run by you.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll do it after this.
Okay.
It's just the Lorcana symbol.
Nice.
On my
So
neck.
we're doing it now.
Well, you already got it, but I have to get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, today, what are we talking about?
We are talking... You should probably do that
Here,
part.
I'll scroll up on the notes. Today, we are going to talk about comparing Magic the Gathering Limited, in particular draft, with Lorcana Limited, in particular draft.
Yes.
Why?
Because they're similar and different. Right.
Like us.
Ha!
So, there's...
There's problems.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. It's just different. Mm-hmm. So Lorcana's trying to be a sort of gateway to trading card games, right?
Yes.
The complexity is a little bit lower. The number of cards in a set is a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. There's 204 cards in the set. How many do you think are in Wilds of Eldraine, which is Magic the Gathering's new set that just released?
Well, you did say about 20 words I don't know. So, am I guessing a number?
Yes.
Got it.
Between 1 and 1,000.
Okay, 400.
That's pretty close. 450 cards.
Wow.
So over double the number of cards are in an average Magic the Gathering set.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Not always. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's 300. Sometimes it's 400. Sometimes it's 200.
But more.
More than 204.
Got it.
So we'll see what happens with the next set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to call it Chapter 2 or whatever. But they had some leaks on some characters that are going to be included.
Oh.
The dragon from Raya and the Last Dragon.
Love that.
They're going to be in it.
Oh.
Aquafina.
Yes.
Voiced by Aquafina. When you play it, you have to do your best Aquafina impression.
I think that's probably a bit problematic, but I think they should just release the card with Aquafina.
Okay, that's an option. Like a QR code you can scan.
Yeah.
And then Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, that is a game changer. Like Winnie the Pooh from the horror film Winnie the Pooh, or like real Winnie the Pooh?
Probably from the horror film. That might be the enchanted version of Winnie the Pooh.
That would be great, actually.
Yeah, but most likely just the normal one. So that's pretty cool. But today we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering. Who's this episode for? If you are a Magic the Gathering veteran that is concerned about the complexity of Lorcana Limited, this is my pitch, okay? So stick around for my pitch as to why you should still give it a shot.
I love that.
If you're a complete beginner, aka Taylor, I'm trying to convey to you the differences. And I think it'll be good to like learn a little bit more about Magic and why people love drafting Magic.
Yeah.
And what might be missing or room to grow in Lorcana. I think it will help you understand where people are coming from, because people are being a little bit vocal, mainly on Reddit. Imagine Reddit people being vocal.
No, I can't.
About something that some stuff that they don't really like about Lorcana Limited. And we're going to talk a little bit about ways that we think that you could potentially address this problem.
Yeah.
So Ryan Miller, again, I'll give you my Venmo. You can just Venmo me the check right now.
Perfect.
All right. So this is for noobs. This is for veterans. Anybody that's interested in this. This is just for people that aren't interested in Limited.
Yeah.
Wait, what did I just say?
People who are interested in limited.
I think I said not.
Oh, people who are not interested? It's for everyone.
It's for everyone. So I buried the lead in the past. It's a problem that I have.
Yeah.
You know I like to ramble.
Yeah.
Some might say I'm doing it right now. I hate how many times listening back to this, I say some might say. I need a button that I can just hit.
Who are they? Where are they? Who are these people that are saying everything?
I don't know. But they're out there and they're coming for you.
Yeah.
So I think that Magic is a lot of fun to draft. Sealed is also great, but we're going to focus mainly on drafting because it's the most popular way to play a limited format in Magic. And I think it will be the same way in Lorcana. Two primary problems.
You're struggling.
I am. We'll fix it in post. Your deck can have any number of inks in it in Lorcana, which means that the color of the cards basically don't exist.
Because you can ink any color, so if you're just using this card to ink, it doesn't matter what color it is.
Yeah, the color on the cards doesn't matter whatsoever in Limited.
Perfect.
So that's one thing, because the color of your cards in Magic matters a lot.
Okay.
So we'll get more into that in a minute. That's the first problem. Card color doesn't matter, which means that all cards are basically the same color, which removes some of the fun complexity that people have in Magic the Gathering. People like that sort of wrinkle in the drafting process because it makes it a lot trickier.
Because the colors go together, like the cards in certain colors play off each other.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. So that's the first thing, is that the reason that people think Lorcana Limited is more simple, or possibly too simple,
colors
is
don't
that the ink colors don't matter. The other thing is very closely related to it, and there's more pieces to this problem, but there's two primary ones in my mind.
Yeah.
That ink color in general matters a lot less in Lorcana, because Lorcana does not have particularly strong color identities.
Okay.
So you understood every word I just said?
All of it. Wait, let me guess.
Okay.
By color identities, that means that right now the colors aren't necessarily privy to like a certain style of play. There's just different cards in every color. You're looking at me like,
well, you said privy and I just turned my brain off. So, but you're headed in the right direction.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, go on.
In Magic, we're going to start off with this concept of why does the ink color matter in Magic, and why does it seem to not matter as much in Lorcana?
Yeah.
In Magic, there's 5 colors: red, white, green, black, and blue.
Okay.
I didn't say those in the proper order. Sorry. But there's like a particular order on the color wheel. If you look at the back of a Magic card, it has the colors in a particular order.
Oh, you messed it up.
It all ties back. Like, there's a lot of lore in Magic.
You're the expert.
I am not an expert in the lore of Magic. Like, there's a story consistently from set to set.
Okay.
And so the colors tie into that story, because the characters that appear on red cards typically behave in a particular type of way.
Yes.
In the books and in the stories.
That is why colors matter in Magic, but in Lorcana they don't. No.
So, yeah. So in kind of.
Okay.
In Magic, I'll give you a description of what the 5 colors do.
Yep.
As simply as the way that I think about it.
Okay.
So red is go fast. You try to just kill your opponent as fast as possible.
Okay.
White is go wide. I'm just going to try to get as many small little creatures and just overwhelm you.
Okay.
Green is go big. I'm trying to get the biggest creatures out that I can.
Fun.
Blue is go away, which is like you're trying to control what your opponent does.
Okay.
So they try to cast a spell and you say nope. And you get a creature on the board and you say nope, that's going back to your hand. So it's just sort of, they're very controlling. Blue.
Yeah.
And then black is go die before I do. So black is a lot about like, I'm going to hurt myself to get more advantage. Like, I deal damage to myself and draw cards, or I sacrifice one of my creatures and bring another one back from the graveyard.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, intriguing, yeah.
So each of the 5 colors has like a particular identity.
Yes.
Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So in Lorcana, what we would expect to see is something similar, right?
Right.
So here's the problem that people have with it, is that that doesn't seem to be as evident.
Right. The colors don't have very specific roles as of now, or identities.
So blue has cards that ramp. You know ramp? You know what ramping is?
No.
Ramping lets
Say it again.
you...
Say ramp one more time.
Blue lets you put more ink out faster. You can ink more cards in a turn.
Okay.
So maybe on turn 4, you only have access to 4 ink, but I have access to 6 ink.
Okay.
So I can play bigger creatures out faster.
Yeah.
Blue in Lorcana is kind of similar to green in Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
I'm going to get more mana or ink on the board faster, and then I'm going to use big creatures to try to reclaim control of the board.
Sure.
But in Magic, it's a little bit more established, right? So I think this is a concern that people have, and then this is my response to that concern. we only have one set of Lorcana.
Right.
We only have 36 cards per color. Magic has 5,000 cards per color.
Yeah.
So Magic has had decades to build up this color identity concept. So my advice, or what I would say, is let's just wait and see.
Wait and see.
Maybe as time goes on, we'll see more and more of like, okay, it seems like red and green, they're getting a lot of evasive creatures. So in Magic, evasive, what you would call evasive in Lorcana is called flying in Magic.
Okay.
It's just another keyword, but it basically means the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a deck that's very popular in Magic called Blue-White Flyers. So that's an archetype. So blue-white, when paired together, oftentimes in sets, they get a lot of flyers.
Okay.
You picking up on what I'm putting down?
Yeah, blue and white go together based on what their abilities do, based on their color identity.
Yes. So there's in Lorcana, there's a few keywords, right? Like bodyguard.
Right. Simba.
Yes, bodyguard. They select Simba.
Yes.
Right now, yellow and gray, or sorry, I guess gray. Yellow and gray are the only are the only colors that have access to bodyguard.
Okay.
So maybe that's us. Maybe that's them telling us bodyguard's probably just going to be in these two colors.
Right.
But if you look at something like evasive, all colors have evasive creatures except for amber.
Oh.
Except for yellow. But like Singer's an ability that's unique to yellow.
Yeah.
So maybe in yellow, songs is going to be their thing, right?
Okay.
So we just don't have enough cards. Like 36 cards in a color is not
So
enough
few.
to establish a pattern.
Right.
Because at this point in Magic, if you think about like black, that color,
Good color.
it's one of my favorites to play because it has a lot of, each of the colors doesn't just have like one thing. Like white doesn't just have the go wide strategy. They also have a strategy with adding counters onto their characters. They have, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on some of the mechanics, but they have a lot of things that are like,
It's not just go wide. There's
Yeah.
other things they have, but that's a good way to use that color.
yes, it's a
Right.
good rule of thumb. Like if I just sit down a draft without ever having looked at this set, probably you can go wide with white. Probably you can go fast with red.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's the thing that people like, is that their color identity seems to be pretty strong. It's not that strong in Lorcana at the moment,
But it's new.
but it's new.
Yeah.
And if we have a couple more sets and let them establish what's common from set to set, we'll start to pick up on that.
Yeah.
I think that we'll see more of that.
Now, I don't know if you have thoughts or we have time, but maybe do we have like predictions for what you think the colors will be in Lorcana?
Like what will their identities be?
Yeah.
Well, if you look online, they have like descriptions, like in the world of like Lorcana, like they're like yellow is creative or whatever. It would be hard for me to say. But
Sounds like fluff.
yeah, it seems to be very vague because I think that they probably aren't 100% locked in on what identity is what.
Yeah.
But I think that the one that seems very clear to me is like yellow is going to be like songs.
Okay.
So all colors will have songs, but yellow has some extra support for songs.
Right.
So you can play songs in other colors, but if you have yellow, songs is going to be like a good way to go.
Yeah. Maybe people can put their predictions in the comments.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Another one, Sapphire. It seems like support is pretty common in Sapphire. There's 5 characters that have support in Sapphire.
Yeah. Blue.
Blue. Nothing else has support except for yellow. Yellow has 2 support characters.
Okay.
Sapphire has blue. So support sort of implies like the characters working with one another. Like mechanically, maybe there's that sort of thing where you're not just building up to get out these big cards, but like even the characters themselves are like making each other better.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe we'll see some. There's going to be new keywords in future sets, but that's sort of my thing. Is let's just give them a shot, give them the benefit of the doubt, and let's just see how it develops.
Yeah, I'm sure that when Magic came out, it was the same way. Maybe.
Yeah, it was, and it's developed and changed over time. The color identity is sort of morphed slowly over time, and there are some keywords. Like at this point, every color has had flying creatures, not just blue and white.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not like that.
Exclusive.
The thing that people like is that in a set, when I'm drafting a deck, I'm probably going to pick 2 colors. you want your deck to have synergy. So synergy just means that my cards that I play help other cards that I'm going to play in the future.
Or play, yeah.
So, for example, I think red-black is maybe the best pair to understand in Magic the Gathering. Because what's common with that color pairing is the concept of sacrificing your own characters.
Okay.
So you'll make a lot of like little cheap characters like rats or something, like,
and get rid of them.
And you can like sacrifice them to like draw a card, or sacrifice a creature to give another creature I said invincible. I don't think that's indestructible. So what's cool about it is when I'm drafting, I can open up a pack of cards.
Yeah.
And even if I've never played this set before, I've played enough Magic to be like, okay, red, black, there's some sacrifice stuff going on here. And I can piece together a deck that supports that archetype. Now, in set to set, there might be strengths or weaknesses depending on the archetype. Like in Lord of the Rings, they said that black was the strongest color.
Yes.
But in this one, in Wilds of Eldraine, we still don't know what's the strongest. But they give us these things called signpost uncommons.
Okay.
Which is an uncommon card that has 2 colors. So there'll be a card that costs like a green and a white mana to play.
Yeah.
And it usually has an ability that ties into the theme for that set.
Okay.
So in this set, green and white working together is all about like enchantments and enchanting your creatures.
Okay.
So enchantments are like these things that go out on the board that
Booster spells.
Boost your spells, boost your characters, make it harder for your opponent to do stuff. Don't worry about it too much.
Yeah.
But
I'm not.
The color pairs sort of point you in a direction. And so it's fun because
Yeah.
I see it and I'm like, okay, green-white seems to care about enchantments.
Yeah, you know a little bit of how you can play.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like it's telling you how to play.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like whereas with Lorcana, you're just sort of like, what's the best card? I'll take that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What's the next best card? I'll take that. There's so little synergy because there's 204 cards. There's so little like card interplay.
Yeah.
Because the mechanics themselves are pretty simple.
Yeah. There's just not enough.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's not enough cards that your card is your card and it does what it does, and there's not another card that's going to help like do something cool with that yet.
So what we could see is something like a card like this in the future. Let's say there's a yellow card that says it's a creature.
Amber.
Sorry. I'm never going to get it. There's a yellow card. Let's say it's a character.
Who's the expert now?
He's not in this room.
Sorry. Yellow card.
When you use this character to sing a song, gain 1 lore. Right?
That doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist.
Okay.
But that's sort of like nudging you in the direction of, that seems like a good ability.
Right.
When I play a song, something I kind of already want to be doing, I get a little bit of a benefit.
Also get lore.
Yeah, so right now there is a little bit of that with some things, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But here's what I say to that argument. So people have been saying this, like, oh, it's just too basic. It's too simple. There's no like synergy between the colors, blah, blah, blah. This game will get more complicated. This feels like Magic a long time ago.
You're saying it's going to get more complicated.
Yes.
Buckle up.
No, wait, this conversation? No, this conversation, hopefully, I'm doing the best I can. Lorcana itself is going to get more complicated.
Right, that's what I'm fearing. Okay.
You fear the increase in complication?
Yeah.
Okay.
But more fun.
It will be more fun. And also, in Magic, as the game increases in complexity, there's still ways to begin to play.
Yeah, yes.
So there's still like beginner decks.
It's never going to be not entry level friendly.
Yeah, there will be a way. Here's what I predict is Lorcana will increase in complexity slowly over time. But it will always be beginner friendly because they want the beginners to be able to get into the game. They will always prioritize a way. I think it will be like starter decks.
Yeah.
To let people to just buy cards and play.
Yep.
That's how most people play Magic.
Right. Okay.
Like this whole scene of like what we're talking about. Most people that play Magic are not listening to podcasts about it. They're just like, I played Magic like 20 years ago. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, that's okay.
And when you buy a starter deck, they don't have crazy complicated cards.
Yes, that makes sense.
More simple. Like in Lorcana, the starter decks are not that great, you know? But it's a
Yes.
great introduction because the cards that are in there are picked for a reason. They're pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of bells and whistles.
Yeah, got it.
So that's one thing. People talk about how there seems to be a lack of synergy among the colors. The colors don't have a very strong identity yet.
Right.
To that I say, give them time, and just know that for now that I agree that's true, but I think that it's still fun.
Yeah.
I have drafted enough Magic and enough Lorcana at this point to tell you that it's still a good time. And I'll get more into supporting that argument in a moment, but that's the first point. Ink color seems to not matter that much. I agree, but I think that it will.
Yeah. Change is coming.
Yeah, change is coming. The other thing is that a deck can have any number of inks in it, and people don't really like that.
Say it again, but so they understand it.
So in constructed inks, your deck can have 2 inks.
Yes.
So you can only have like red and green.
Oh, yes.
In limited, you can have all 6 colors in
Okay.
there. It doesn't matter. So
Yes.
there's no restriction. When I look at a deck of cards, all of these are options for
Yeah.
me.
Okay. That makes sense.
People like in Magic that I can look at a pack and get a lot of information out of that.
Right.
So there's this concept called signals,
Okay.
which, is a sort of a buzzword in drafting. And it means I'm getting information based on what is and is not in the pack of cards that were just handed to me.
Okay.
If you pass me 8 cards and there's 5 green cards in there,
Yeah.
I can assume that no one to the right of me is currently taking green cards.
Right.
So maybe I would consider shifting to green, starting to take green cards because it seems to be open. That's what we would call it.
Yeah.
If a color's cut, somebody passes me a pack. I've been drafting red cards for my first 5 picks. First, whatever.
No more
There's
reds.
no red. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's bad.
Right.
Pass it. There's no red in the next one. Uh-oh. So that means that there's probably a couple people on my right that are taking red. So these are signals.
Signals in the cards.
Signals telling you what other people around you are probably drafting.
Right.
And you can send signals as well. So if I open a pack of cards and there's a really, really good red card in it,
Yeah.
and I take, a blue card and pass it, that's telling the person that I just passed it to, hey, I'm not interested in red. The door's open from here.
Yeah.
Because this is clearly one of the best red cards in the game. I didn't take it.
Right. Why would you do that?
That's a good question. So the way that you cast spells in Magic is that it's just like ink, but imagine that the color mattered.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing a red-blue deck in Magic, I have to have red lands and blue lands. I cannot tap blue lands to cast red spells.
Okay.
So you have to have both.
Yeah.
So if I'm drafting a deck that's with red cards and blue cards and a really good green card comes by, I can't take it
It's not gonna
because
help
then
you.
I now have to have red lands and blue lands and green lands.
Yeah.
And when you only have 17 lands in your deck, you have to be able to cast your spells.
You got to be picky.
Yeah, you have to be picky. And so you typically in draft are only going to have 2 colors in your deck because that's mainly what you can support with what they would call a mana base in a 40 card deck.
Okay.
You just got to fit, a certain number of red lands, a certain number of blue lands.
Yeah.
So if that awesome green card comes by, you just got to wave goodbye and pass it on. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. So when you're talking about Lorcana and having any number of inks in it, the color, again, doesn't matter.
Everything I just said doesn't matter.
Right.
Because
You're just taking the best card.
yeah, let's imagine in Lorcana that color did matter. You pass me a deck of cards and I see that there's no gray left. I would know that people beside me are picking up a lot of gray cards. So maybe they have a lot of Fire the Cannons. Maybe they have some Captain Hooks, this side or the other.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of information, but it doesn't matter in this because everybody's just taking turns picking the best card.
So there's no signals.
There's no signals at all. So here's how you pick a card in Lorcana. What do I have? What do I need?
Okay.
And then you take the card with that information.
How is
so
that?
it's like I already have a lot of 6 cost and 7 cost cards. I need to get a couple of cheap 2 cost cards. So
Yeah.
I'll let this really good 6 cost card or this pretty good 6 cost card go by. I'll take a 2 cost card and pass it on.
What do I have? What do I need?
That's all you have to ask yourself in Lorcana.
Nice. I can do that.
Yeah, so like I have a bunch of cheap creatures. I need to get some more expensive stuff.
Yeah.
Or I have a lot of characters. I need to get some removal. So you start prioritizing what you don't have to fill in the gaps.
Okay.
In Magic, it's a lot more complicated how you choose a card. And that's people's biggest problem with it is in Magic, there's so much that goes into picking a single card. So you have to look at what do you have and what do you need.
Yep.
But you also have to look at, does this card fit into my existing archetype or strategy?
Okay.
Like
Like
does
the
it
color
support
thing.
what I'm trying to do, or does it go against what I'm trying to do?
Right.
You know, like if I'm playing a red and green, like really fast, aggressive deck, and then a really expensive green card comes my way, you still might not even take it because it's in your colors, but it doesn't support what you're trying to do.
You're trying to go fast.
Yeah, you're trying to build a cohesive deck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another thing is when you're picking a card in Magic, you have to ask yourself, what information do I gain by the cards that were just handed to me?
Yeah.
So what is the person next to me taking? What do they seem to care about?
Based on what you just got.
That's why you alternate packs. That's why you alternate directions
In Magic.
in Magic.
Not in Lorcana.
In Lorcana, you do as well, but
Oh.
I'm not 100% sure why. In Magic, you alternate picks so that you don't, like, an example would be helpful. Let's say that we're sitting next to each other.
Yeah,
which
we are.
I want to do red blue.
Okay.
I'm picking up red and blue cards.
Yep.
You pick up on the fact that I'm picking up red and blue cards. When it comes back this way, you know that, right?
Yeah, I know that now you're picking after me.
Now you're picking after me, right? So it makes it more interesting.
Now you're picking after me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm picking after you.
Yeah.
No, you, me.
You, me.
Me.
Me, you.
Me, you. Yeah, so...
Now I can mess up your deck.
Well, you can. That's not really why it's helpful. So there's a term called hate drafting.
I'm very familiar with that.
So hate drafting is when you pick a card just so the person next to you doesn't have it.
Yeah.
You know I'm in a red-blue deck. You take it so that I can't have it, even if it doesn't help.
Doesn't really help me, just messes you up.
Yeah. Don't do that. That's a bad idea in Magic.
Doesn't seem to help me much.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to ask yourself, is it worth it for me to make my deck worse just to make one person sitting next to me's deck a little bit worse?
Yeah.
Because you might not ever even play me
Right.
in the tournament.
Oh, true.
And then you're helping out your other opponents. So you should just be worried about what's good for you. But what's nice is you can send each other signals like, I'm in green, help me out.
Oh, that's a nice thing.
So well, sometimes, I mean, it depends. It's sort of, it's not, you sort of have to do it to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like the signals, it's almost like a way to communicate because you want to get out of each other's way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like because you don't want to hate draft, you want to get the best you can, and you're fine with them getting good cards too.
Yeah, as long because it's not affecting me right now in this moment. I'm getting the cards I want if you're getting the cards you want. Yeah.
So people will get mad at you when you draft sometimes if you mess up. Like let's say pack 2, I've been doing red blue, and then I suddenly shift to green and just start cutting green off from you, and you're like, what just happened?
Mixed signals.
Yes, sending mixed signals.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that as well. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I definitely, now I understand. Yeah.
Okay, and so you have to ask yourself when you're picking a card in Magic, what do I have? What do I need? Does this card fit into my existing deck? What info do I gain by the cards that were just handed to me?
Right, signals.
And what information am I sending to the player beside me when I pass this to them?
Okay.
So what signals did I just get, and what signals am I giving?
Yeah, it's a lot more questions you have to ask yourself.
There are more questions. I agree. So with all of that, why do we think that people should still play Lorcana Limited? So we've been rambling a little bit about saying the problems, or the two of the big problems in my mind that Lorcana faces right now with Limited.
Right. I mean, it seems simpler right now, but that seems to be a problem some people have. So maybe just novices like myself are like, hey, this is great.
Yeah, that's true.
I have to ask myself way less.
Yeah.
But that will change, we think, as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also important to note that in Magic the Gathering, you can draft Magic, not know anything about signals, and have a good time.
Yeah.
Signals is like metagaming. It's like another layer on top of what's going on, right?
Oh, okay.
So like people that are worked up about this are people that have a lot of experience drafting. They're probably pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But most people that sit down and try drafting Lorcana for the first time, they're not gonna they don't care. They're
Right.
just like, oh, this is fun. I get to take whatever I want.
Yeah.
So that's my first point is it's fun. Like, if you are concerned about the complexity and you're like, this is nothing compared to Magic, don't just try it once. Like, if you hate it, good, that's fine. But don't knock it till you try it. Like, just try it out. If you hate it, sell your cards and go draft Magic.
It sounds like just approach it like a totally different thing.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
Similar type of gameplay, but just approach it like a brand new game.
Exactly. And I think that ties into what I think is the biggest point. Is that in when you do a Magic draft, you draft your cards, you build your deck, you play your games. Mm-hmm. Drafting your deck is such a small piece of the entire time.
Yeah.
That if you enjoy playing Lorcana, you're going to have a good time.
Right.
Now, if you don't like playing Lorcana, don't draft it. You're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because the draft is 20 minutes. The deck construction is, well, we need to consult the rules. The construction is 20 minutes, and then you play for 3 hours.
Right.
Like, if you like playing Lorcana, you'll probably like playing Limited.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So for the people that are like, you're not picking up on signals. Well, if you think about draft as like a pie, that's just such a small slice of the pie. Mm-hmm. Now, it might be your favorite piece of pie. Like, maybe you only like that little edge towards like the corner and like well, pies are round.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
not a corner.
Brownies? Maybe you like corner brownies.
Yeah.
And I get that maybe your favorite thing about Magic is like, I love those sort of like grindy, like complicated decisions.
Right.
Well, that's okay, but that's still a very small piece of the overall aspect of drafting Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
If I draft a deck and then Luis Scott Vargas drafts a deck in Magic and then we swap decks, he's still going to beat me.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know that guy, but yeah, that sounds...
we mentioned him in a previous episode.
Oh,
You don't memorize everything that we say?
No, you have the notes.
He's one of the best Magic players of all time.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so if he drafts a deck and I draft a deck and then we were to swap decks, he would still beat me.
Yeah.
Because drafting is important, but if you don't know how to pilot the deck, then it doesn't matter.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So don't let the fact that signals aren't there deter you from eating pie. Sometimes pie is still good, you know.
Right. Yeah, that analogy makes perfect sense.
Brownies?
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been thinking about dessert for the last 5 minutes, so.
Nice. Well, speaking of which, we're wrapping up.
Yes.
So the last thing, we talked a bit about what are some problems that people have.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked a little bit about why I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I just want to end with what I do think that could be done to improve Lorcana. Mm-hmm. Like limited Lorcana.
Yes.
First of all, sideboard.
Yes.
I think that you need to have a sideboard in Lorcana events because it allows you to adjust your strategy based on what your opponent is doing, and it makes some cards that are previously completely dead, completely useless,
alive.
They have a very faint pulse now.
Oh.
So like break. I would never take break.
No. Break?
It's a really bad Lorcana card.
Got it. Yes.
You pay 2 and you can destroy an opponent's artifact.
Oh, yeah.
Or item. It's basically useless.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the chances that it ever comes up? So, but it, like I've said in the past, if you were playing a deck that had a lot of items in it, maybe in game 2, I could put that card into my deck. Mm-hmm. You can adjust your strategy.
Yeah, it's an audible. It's a mid-game adjustment to help yourself out.
Yeah, you hear this, Ryan Miller. Give the people what they want. Give us a sideboard. Even if it's just in competitive events.
Yeah.
But I don't think a sideboard increases the complexity of the game enough to warrant not including it.
Yeah.
It makes the game better. It doesn't make it that much more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, and it's a little bit trickier, I would be interested in trying out a format in Limited where ink color does matter more.
Lost me there.
Had you, lost you. So I think that I saw this idea on Reddit. I wish I could find whoever's idea it was, but I think it has some legs to it.
Okay.
I've never tried it.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't. But what if for every color over 2 that's in your deck, you have to earn 5 more lore to win? So if I want to play a 2-color deck, I have to get to 20 lore. If I want to play a 3-color deck, I have to get to 25 lore.
I gotcha. Okay.
Or what I think would be even more interesting, the problem with that idea is, what if I have 3 colors in there, but you only see 2 of them in the game?
Yeah, that third one never makes it out.
Yeah, it never makes it out, or I just don't play the card.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, I can if I just
only
don't
want
play
20
this,
lore.
I only have to get to 20.
Maybe it's just what's in your deck, though.
Well, then you have to show them your deck and let them go through it at the beginning, and you don't want them to know what's in your deck.
You just be honest.
That's not an option. So what I propose is for every color that you play that actually makes it onto the board, not in your inkwell,
Yeah.
increases your lore by 5.
Okay.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
So then you have to make tactical, like we're
This is war.
performing a mission during war.
This is absolute war. Lorcana.
You have to make decisions about which cards am I going to ink,
Yeah.
because inking a card doesn't count as like
Correct.
playing
You don't
it.
see it. You don't see
Yeah,
it.
so they'll still see it, but and that's okay. Like,
It's not in play.
But it's not in play. So under these rules, you could be like, I really want to play this gray card out, but if I do, then I'm gonna have to get another 5 more lore. So maybe I should just hold on to it. You know, I think that those decisions make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, it adds some more strategy.
Yeah. And maybe it's a terrible idea. Maybe we try it and it's not fun.
Could be.
But I think that what it would do is that it would force people to focus instead of on, just grab 6 colors.
Yeah.
You're really trying to go deep into like 3 or 4 colors.
Yeah.
And then that sort of signal thing comes in a little bit more.
And the ink color matters.
Yeah, a little bit. So that's sort of an idea I have. If you try it out, let me know. I still haven't tried it. Next time we draft, I'm going to propose that we try it. But if you have any ideas, leave it in the comments or reach out to us. We actually don't have a way to reach out to us at the moment. We should maybe make an email or something.
Something.
You can message us via carrier pigeon.
Just yell loud.
Yeah, just yell. Just find your nearest microphone and yell into it, and we'll probably hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions?
So many, but not based on this right now. I think I got it.
Cool. Well, we'll probably do some more episodes that will touch on this a little bit more, but I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Why do people not like it? Why do Why do 1% of people on Reddit claim to not be interested in playing Lorcana Limited?
Too simple.
It's too simple, and like the color choices don't matter, and there's no signals that you can pass around. We think that it's still a lot of fun. You should try it out.
Absolutely.
And then we also think that there's ways to improve it. Try some house rules, see what you like. And I believe that this will change in the future.
Yeah.
I think that people will find a way to make the drafting more interesting and more complicated. And then eventually that will become the rule. This is still such a new game.
Yeah.
And it's right now beginner friendly for everyone because we're all beginners. Even if you've played card games for decades, we're all beginners when it comes to Lorcana.
Only time will tell.
Time will tell, indeed. What's your pack one pick one this week?
Oh, my pack one pick one. I got a story for you, actually. Short story. I'll make it brief. But I'm a school counselor at a middle school, as you know. And assistant principal asked me to check in with this kid today, who I know very well, but I've just not.
The principal or the kid?
I know them both very well. But they asked me to check in with this kiddo, who I've met with a bunch and just didn't feel like I was doing anything. We got some furniture for our counselor's corner, big classroom. We got some furniture for it, and so I thought,
you and this kid went and got furniture?
No, sorry, you don't do that.
No, I'm not doing anything. I legitimately
don't bring kids to get furniture. You know? Oh. No, we ordered furniture for the school. The counselors did.
Okay.
And so I picked this kid up from class, and I was like, hey, I got to build a table. Like, come help me build this table. So I just put him to work. You know, I just made him work to
child labor.
I just said, here's the instructions. Let's talk while we work. And he helped me build a table. And that's the most I've ever gotten out of that kid. We had a great conversation. We made a table.
Sounds like he made a table.
He made a table. He did a great job. My job was easier. And I felt like, I got somewhere finally. So it's nice to have a little, sometimes you got to change stuff up.
You got somewhere and you got something.
Exactly.
A table.
It's
that
great.
Is hilarious to me. You're just going to start putting these kids to work around your office. Like, could you actually file my taxes for me? We're going to talk through this.
We can talk about your feelings, but I would just appreciate if you moved some of this furniture around for me.
How do you feel about the chaos on my desk right now? Maybe it would help you feel better if it was less disorganized.
All I'm saying is tiny work victories. Okay?
Yeah, that's something.
What's yours?
Love.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I went to the beach last weekend, and by I mean we.
Yeah, we did go. I was there.
St. Simon's. That's probably my pack one pick one. I love that place. I wish I was there right now. Very relaxed beach island off the coast of Georgia.
Yeah.
Weather was great. Beach was great. Murphy's was great.
Oh, Murph.
I've never played pool that well in my life.
No, you were on fire.
I mean, I was making shots that I've never seen.
It's incredible.
I mean, I couldn't do it again right now. I
No.
promise you that.
No
and
chance.
then the next game, I did knock the 8-ball in on my first shot.
Yeah.
So,
you regressed back to true form.
yeah. You win some and you lose some.
Yeah.
But St. Simon's, I love the beach. It heals my soul every time. And the barbecue there, Southern Soul, is, I mean...
Chef's kiss. Is great.
It's so good.
Get the Hoppin' Johns. Is that what they're called?
Hoppin' Johns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get those if you go.
Do you call it getting groceries or food shopping?
Getting groceries.
Okay. Sky and her family, my wife and her family, say food shopping.
No.
I've never heard this before.
That's not a thing.
A colleague at work today said, after this, I'm going food shopping.
What? In the world?
I think it is just people in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, I call it food shopping.
Because they're from, Sky's mom is like New Jersey Italian.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, we're going to go food shopping.
That's weird.
I make fun of them every time for it. And now they're validated. When my colleague said it, I yelled across the house. I was like, Sky, I found someone else that says food shopping.
That's what it took to believe your wife. A colleague at work.
Well, you know what? I guess so. I mean, in my defense, I've never met anyone that calls it food shopping.
That's fair. Yeah. Maybe it's regional.
I think it's just one region.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Sky has some they call it Kroger's. They put an S on all grocery stores.
They just plural everything.
Publix's.
Yeah. No, stop.
Not Publix's, but Kroger's.
Man, Kroger's. Huh. Well.
Hey, the more you know.
The more you know.
All right. Well, you got anything else for us today?
I don't. That's it. That's all I got. Boo-doo. Boo-doo. Boo.